are here. We are queer.
Get used to it.
But you're not. Well, you're odd.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
queer.
meaning odd, but I'm not queer. I
So
identify.
You tried kissing a girl once.
I've done more than kiss a girl. I've been with a few women in my life.
Oh, my goodness.
I've just never had a relationship with a woman. It was always sexual.
Yeah.
And it was always because there was a man involved.
Right.
There was one time where it was just myself and another woman.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it at the time, but I realized that something was missing for me. So I'm queer in the sense that, I'm open to, or I was open to anything and anyone, any color, any race, any credo.
Well, I think that's an interesting point you bring up, because when you think about the gay aesthetic, I don't think it has to do with sexuality. I think it has to do with thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years ago, recently I interviewed Andy Cohen about his book, Superficial. And I asked him about the network he was on when I first met him. I actually met him years ago, but when I really got to know him, he was on a network called Trio.
I remember with Lauren Zalaznik starting that, didn't she? She was our executive producer, or the one who commissioned the show when we were on VH1.
Yes, exactly. And they were at Trio, which had this eclectic lineup of shows that were really intellectual, but also quirky and fun, and everything that you and I would love. Like they ran a block of cop rock, the 1990 Stephen Bochco musical cop show with Kathleen Will Hoyt.
Which was everybody's punchline on every news show.
Because it was a big flop. Because it cost a lot. For each episode cost so much money to make cop rock. Yep. Look it up. And it was a musical cop show.
Yes. Exactly
anyway,
what it was.
they did a series of shows called Brilliant But Canceled. And that was part of that series. Anyway, my point is that Trio had the gay aesthetic, which was it's kind of queer, left from center.
Correct. Which was Trio was the pre-Bravo.
Yes.
Pre-cum Bravo.
Right, because Bravo had been the arts and entertainment section.
Correct.
It was Trio that
No, Trio was the one where you'd see orchestras, blah, 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 and then they started moving a little to left of center.
Yeah.
And then it became the predecessor, right? That's the first one. To Bravo. Correct.
Because that's when those guys moved over to Bravo or whatever it was. I don't remember. But that's the gay aesthetic, and now the real gay aesthetic is throughout pop culture.
Yes. But I mean, the gay aesthetic's been going on in pop culture forever. The difference is with evolution and social media and computers even. Let's take social media out of it. Computers even, it's become more relevant and prevalent and in your face because we're able to. But think of Andy Warhol and pop culture back then. Like, the gay aesthetics always existed in pop culture. It's just now the masses, more mainstream, though not mainstream, but more mainstream than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And I think the word queer is an umbrella because I identify as queer because I am not the straight, regular, run-of-the-mill, heterosexual, cisgender woman. I am all of the above and fight for all of
Please explain what cisgender is. I've never gotten that.
Because it's just a term to say what you are born as.
Why cis? What does that stand for?
I don't know if it stands for anything. I think it's just that's a medical term, maybe.
I don't know.
The definition of it is denoting or related to a person whose self-identity conforms with the gender that corresponds to their biological sex. So if you were born a male, and you identify as a cisgender male, it doesn't make you gay or straight. It makes your identity as identifying with who you were born as. Meaning, a transgender is a transgender person. Cisgender person is the person they identify with, the body they were born in. So is cis the opposite
of trans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's an easy way to put it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So that's exactly what the word means.
Yeah. Although, I always identify as Ru. I'm Ru.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real.
And you should be Ru, and we are who we are. And some people have the need to have a label. Some people fight to not have a label.
Yeah.
So whatever makes you happy, I say, go for it.
Right on.
I don't care what the hell you call me. I don't care what if somebody needs to be they, them, and that's the way they want to identify, then bless. I'll call you whatever you want to be called,
Right. I'm glad you cleared that up. There's, I think that's what a lot of people from the 20th century have an issue with moving forward, is that you have to be more conscious. You have to be more mindful of what you say, what you do, because you don't want to be unkind to
or
other people.
offend, yeah.
And you don't want other people to feel uncomfortable.
And I'm all down for that. I want everybody to feel comfortable and happy. But it is definitely more laborious. You have to think more. And sometimes, a lot of the time, you say things that would never meant to be offensive.
It's taken out of context.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's all that too. But
yeah, because we say things that out of school, spoken out of school, that are meant just for you and I.
Should we call it locker room banter? Too soon? I don't know. It's true. It's true,
honey,
though.
if people were recording some of the things that we've said that
you and I, but you want to take it a step further, if they recorded anything said in a drag queen dressing room.
Oh, honey.
I mean,
yeah.
But there is a time and a place. The difference is drag queens weren't running for president.
That's
and
true.
You and I aren't, so there is a time and a place. And there is a line too. I think we've said everything there is to say up to the line, but there is a line that doesn't need to be crossed in any conversation, and there's a limit. There's people like you and I and all the queens that I know and have hung out with for 30 years. There's a boundary, but it's pretty hard to reach.
It's pretty hard to reach because we've felt very comfortable in mocking all of the traditions, because those traditions have usually held us in. They've held us hostage.
And that repressed, suppressed, held us back. I agree.
Yeah.
That's why drag and the gay culture as a whole, now guys, I'm generalizing here, I'm not saying everybody, as a whole mocks the face.
It's irreverent.
Yes, correct. That's the freedom of it.
Yeah.
So taking that away takes away the very being of the derivative, where it came from.
Yeah. That's why when you see Bugs Bunny in drag and honey,
he's a drag queen.
He complete drag. When Elmer Fudd opens a door and Bugs Bunny turns around and puts a hand over his breast and
his private
and its private parts and screams. It's funny because Bugs is pretending. The fact that I'm having to describe this to people. Go
ahead, say it. Because, by the way, Bugs always walks around naked.
Yeah, he's naked.
Right.
He's making fun of our modesty and the act of modesty that we have.
Really?
So the fact that he's doing it and then he's covering up parts that he doesn't have.
That's the joke.
That's the joke.
That's comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So funny. So many people overthink what funny is or what's meant to be. And a lot of times things aren't meant to be overthought.
Yeah.
And just be.
I tweeted a few weeks ago that I said, how will I explain Melania to my children? A lot of people came at me and said, you can't have children. And
that old chestnut.
Well, you explain it because she was a model who worked her way up to. And it's like, okay, first, these people, they're not getting the joke.
No.
First of all, the term, how do I explain blank to my children is a right-wing term.
Correct.
That was used to say, how do I explain
homosexuality,
all this stuff. So I'm using their terminology.
Correct.
In a joke form.
Yeah, but those people that came at you were the very people who were voting for him and not understanding that they are the alt-right. And the funny thing is, which I'm very grateful for, when you said, how do I explain Botox to my children? You used my picture, which was just glorious. Thank you. And which I responded, you put your hand on your forehead and you cover it because you use the cover of the Diva Rules.
Yes, I used the cover of your book where you're holding your forehead.
Just so you don't see it. No scars here.
But that kind of irreverence, you can't explain it to people because they're seeing life on the superficial, on the surface. They're taking it at face value.
Yeah.
When you are queer or queer-minded, you see beyond the surface. You see beyond the facade of things.
Correct.
And you are able to dissect it, deconstruct it, and understand that it is just a facade.
The queer generation, the queer community, and again, generalizing, not everybody, we live in the underbelly.
Yeah.
So we're in the matrix, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Where everybody else is outside the matrix.
Yes, we've got 1 foot in the matrix and 1 foot outside of the matrix
we
at
can't,
all times.
Right, we can't be completely in either one.
But we were talking about this last night, you and I, in that we walk a fine line because people who are sweet, sensitive souls have always had 1 foot, played the game, but also played outside of the game. But there's the horror and the possibility of us falling on one side or the other. I've always felt that if you walk that line between the matrix and outside of the matrix, you have to supplement it with a spiritual practice. You have to supplement your life with space. You can't just be sarcastic about everything. You also have to acknowledge.
That is very true.
You have to acknowledge the spiritual side of life. This world we live in is yin yang, black white, male female. That's the construct that we're in.
Yes.
So as a human machine on this planet, you can do the waka waka waka, but you also have to fortify it with a spiritual life.
But most people do not. You realize
most people do not.
And that's why those people that are waka waka turn bitter.
Yes.
And angry.
Yes.
And they fizzle out. And there's a lot of performers that I can think of already in my head that are headed there, have been there and dropped.
Yep.
And when you look at it, you go, oh my God, now I understand why.
Now you understand
because that sarcasm turns into bitterness, turns into hate.
Well, I've described it in one of the albums I have a spoken part where I say it's like watching the thorns of a rose turning inward on itself. Spiritual,
oh my God, yes.
Sweet, sensitive souls, unless they fortify their existence with a spiritual, I'm talking meditation, I'm talking yoga, I'm talking a connection to the source, whatever the source may
energy.
Be for you.
Yeah.
Without that, people can very easily turn bitter. That's why people like Tammy Faye and the Pollyanna characters who acknowledge the darkness but choose to see the beauty and the light is the key to this. And it
ain't easy.
It's not easy. It looks easy, especially to someone who's sarcastic and who's cynical. It looks like, you clearly don't see the reality of life. Oh, no, they absolutely do see it. They've chosen to not put any power there.
Yeah. And it happens, not necessarily, let's take our business out of it, but it happens so much in everyday life. So much. I see so many people around me who aren't in the business that it's just like, oh my God, why are you doing this? And when I feel myself going there, at least I can feel myself going there and going, what are you doing? Stop. But you have to physically say, stop. Because otherwise you won't, it'll just, and also it's I don't know whose teaching it was I don't know if it's Eckhart or Marianne or whoever it was with the stopping to acknowledge that it's there, seeing it, and then go, okay, move it out.
Well, here in Los Angeles, there is this phenomenon. We're not even talking about texting and driving. I'm talking about the phenomenon of not stopping at a stop sign. You're driving down the street and you see a car come barreling around the corner without stopping at a stop sign. And I think it's indicative of where we are as humans on this planet right now. There's this narcissism that everyone is in it for themselves.
So and people saying they're too good to stop at a stop sign.
They're too good, or that the rules don't apply to me.
Correct.
They apply to everyone else except for me.
Correct.
Well, when everybody feels that way, we don't have a civilization.
No, it's called anarchy.
It's called anarchy, and we have this narcissism that it's just about you and that the rules don't apply to you, and that me getting this text is really more important than you behind me who's waiting for the light to change. It's already changed.
How many times have you done? You'll sit here, hello?
Honk your horn. You want me to honk the horn for you?
Pull aside.
The thing is, it's if everyone behaves that way, and they do, then we don't have a civilization. We have our anarchy.
Correct.
And it's about being conscious that we're all in this together. And I think that, I think even the election is a reflection of that. It's not understanding that we're in this together.
But it goes back to also what you said about collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
If we strive to do better for ourselves and we make some kind of agreement to come together in a collective consciousness, we can shift the earth back to where it was meant to be. We can.
But see, I
But
believe
will we?
the part of the brain that decides I'm not going to stop at this stop sign, or that I'm going to take this text on the freeway barreling at 75 miles per hour, that part of the brain is immune to rational thinking. That part of the brain cannot be reasoned with, because the ego, it's part of the ego. The ego cannot be reasoned with.
Right. So how do we let go? Now, I know listening to Eckhart Tolle is a big thing, with this, but a lot of people don't, won't, can't, right?
Right.
With Eckhart, read his book or listen.
Mm-hmm.
How does one make the first steps to realize that the ego and the pain body and all these things are not who we are? What's the first step to let it go?
The first step to let it go is meditate, quiet, is stillness, quiet yourself. And that voice in you will emerge. You have to take time to acknowledge that part of you, the source of where you come from and who you really are. Who you really are is not who it says it on your driver's license or your marital status.
Right.
It is, you are an extension of the source. That's the first step.
Right. Because so many people think that meditation is just, mumbo jumbo, or that,
Well, the ego says that. The ego says that. The ego does not want to be called out. The ego, think of the movie The Exorcist, and the ego being that sort of that demon inside of her. That demon cannot hear the truth. It cannot hear the truth because it believes that it would be the death of you.
Right.
So the ego is going to do anything it can to push the truth away.
What's the danger in the conscious and unconscious mind of letting the ego go? Why do we hold on to it?
Because our ego is tied into our identity. Our identity is I'm a black 50-year-old Republican. Well, that doesn't really make sense, does it?
Oh, they exist. One at least.
There must be some. Yeah. Protestant, whatever. And all of those things, that's tied to the ego. Identity is tied to the ego.
So really, letting go of it is the fear of losing who you are.
Fear of dying.
Yeah.
It's death. But
to you.
To the
not to physical you.
Right. Well, but you are not
that.
Your ego. You are not your identity. You are part of the source. So the solution is connecting to that source. Having a balance. You could be all those things. That doesn't mean that has to die.
Right.
You just have to have a balance. And I think that this world, we talked about the world being off its axis right now. I think our egoic world that we live in is off its balance because we've put so much energy into the egoic mind.
I agree.
And that's why it's off. There isn't enough of the spiritual sense because when you connect to the spirit, you understand we are not separate from one another. We're connected.
We're all connected.
When I'm doing my taxes at the stoplight on my cell phone, and someone behind me has to honk to remind me, you're in traffic and
You're
we're
driving.
all doing this together.
You're behind
here.
a wheel.
Yeah, and I got shit to do too.
Yeah.
Your shit ain't more important than my shit. I got to get there.
Right.
That's where we are.
Yeah. It's just really interesting because I see the younger generation struggle with that living in the now moment situation because it's not ever there. And it would be something really great to teach children or to have an option.
I don't know if we can do it. That Louis C.K. thing we talked about, his cell phones with his girls, that they can't lift their heads up from them, or that he didn't want to give his daughters cell phones. I have it written down somewhere here. But he basically said, we don't want to face the god-awful truth that we'd actually have to be in this moment with ourselves because having to face ourselves and having to spend any time with ourselves and realize and say out loud, I friggin' hate all of this. I hate my life.
But that's the first step to deconstructing the bad stuff that we need to get rid of. That's the first step.
Can we do it though? I don't know.
No, I'm going to say no because it's such hard work.
Yeah.
That's what years of therapy has helped you do. And I haven't even scratched the surface in years of therapy of getting to the point where I have to look at my own life and go, oh my God, I hate what you've become. Now let's rebuild. But it is possible.
Well, it is possible. I believe, and we're going to take a break, but I believe that all of this has probably got to be torn down first for any of that to change.
Agreed. I'm with you.
And that's probably where we're heading. Until then, we'll eat chicken and dance to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And I'll eat fake chicken and dance to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
Only if I can wear Verdine White's blouses.
Ooh, I can't wait for the Verdine White collection
at Kmart?
No, at H&M.
Are you being serious?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like really excited because I could get a poet blouse or a pirate blouse. Yeah.
I love it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Hey, Michelle, let's talk about some Squarespace.
Oh, you know I love me some Squarespace.
There ain't nothing square about Squarespace, honey.
You're the square if you ain't using Squarespace.
It is just brilliant. Everybody has a brand today.
Yeah.
And if you have a brand, you've got to have a place for people, consumers, people who are interested in what you're doing, to go to find out what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's super easy to do. And that's the thing. People have always been frightened off of, I don't know how to do this. What am I going to? Not with Squarespace, honey. Making a website has never been easier. You can make a gorgeous website in minutes. In minutes. Using their beautiful templates and, of course, our Dragon Death Drop platform.
I love that. No, this is on your own terms to your own specifications. And it's just brilliant. Where you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with offer code RU. That's right. Go to squarespace.com, offer code RU. All right, we are back. And we're just talking about stuff with my girl, Michelle Visage.
That's me, cisgender girl.
Is that how you're identifying?
Well, I do identify as a cisgender heterosexual woman who has dabbled. So therefore, I am under the queer umbrella.
There's one of my favorite words, dabble. Yes.
I like the word diddle too. And it has, unfortunately, it's constantly used with diddling children like pedophiles, but that's obviously not how I use it, obviously.
Well,
but it's a fun word, diddle.
Because remember when T.S. Madison talked about dabbling in someone's butt?
Yeah, but Madison's going to ruin that word for me.
Well, but because when I think of dabble, I can only think of dabbling in witchcraft.
Yeah, dabbling in anything. I've dabbled. I've pretty much dabbled in anything, too.
But have you
except for drugs?
See, I only associate the word dabble with witchcraft. Have you ever dabbled in witchcraft?
I've dabbled in Scientology. Does that mean witchcraft?
Well, not quite.
Pretty close.
Well, there's similarities there.
I have learned. I've taken a course on Wicca.
Okay.
But it didn't click. Yeah, I try listen. I'm the girl that likes to try everything. If I read about it and I go, oh, this sounds interesting, I want to try it. Because how else would you know unless you try it?
Well, I've dabbled in wicker furniture.
Oh, me too.
Before, great patio furniture.
I've dabbled on the lanai with some wicker. Me too. I'm with you. I'm a big fan of dabbling.
Yeah.
I think everybody should dabble in a little bit.
I think it's important to dabble.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Now, you mentioned the Scientology. Now, have you been watching Leah's show? I
have been watching Leah's show, and I was actually, since we're very close, I've been in and out of her home when she was going through it, and to see, and I've known her since 2002.
Right. Leah Remini has a show on
Scientology, The Aftermath on A&E.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and it's life altering, and seeing her go through it and the exhaustion. And, we were sitting at her house one day, and she actually said to me something like to the effect of, I knew that it was bad, but I had no idea that it was this bad. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, well, the only reason you didn't know it was this bad is because you weren't looking for it.
Right.
If you had known all along, I can guarantee you would have left years before.
But that's a tall order to ask someone to deconstruct their belief system.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know exactly why. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. From the outside looking in, I would see her. I'd go to her house. I'd get off the air on the radio. I'd go to her house for lunch or whatever. And we'd spend the day together. And she'd be in so much pain. She has allergies like you do. Mm-hmm. So horribly bad, though. Like Leah she'd get sinus headaches. She couldn't even see. Like she'd be squinting. And I'm going, take something. And she'd go, I can't. Why not? Because I'm being audited. So you're telling me, Leah, you're being audited, so you can't even take Tylenol. Yeah, I can't. Because L. Ron Hubbard, mandated that if you're being audited, you can't take anything that affects you, alters you in any way.
Sure.
So she's suffering just to be audited. So I'm like, Leah, pause the auditing.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, you know? But that's not the way they were.
But you can take it if you're not being audited?
Correct.
Okay.
You can take it if you're not being audited, but when she was during auditing. So seeing her go through, I mean, I'm so proud of this girl. I am so, so proud.
It's quite a feat.
It is, and it's scary, and it's brave, and
it's ongoing.
It's ongoing, and I've stood behind her.
So her parents and everybody left as she left.
They had no choice.
They had no choice.
Because once she's declared a suppressive person, you either disconnect and go on, or you're pushed out, you're kicked out as well.
Sure.
So it was she had the pressure of everybody in her family that, she grew up in it, and the pressure was on her.
So when you were audited or when you were cleared or whatever,
correct.
Was it at her suggestion?
So when I entered Scientology, I met Leah and I said, I know you're a Scientologist. I've read so much about it. We all have.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? And she's like, she explained it, but she said, listen, if you want to know what it is, like if you wanted to know what Catholicism was, I'd say come to a mass. So she told me, come to the church and check it out and I'll bring you. And I said, okay, what is it going to hurt?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and they give you this little spiel in a nutshell. And I thought, this is different. This is weird, but this is my story, right? So I go to a mission with Leah and her mother and I meet these people and they explain the e-meter. They have you hold the e-meter. And I thought it was really odd, but the way they explained it was really cool too, because they say, think about a cat or a pet of yours dying, and you hold the cans, they look like soup cans, and the meter starts going like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows, so you obviously have a connection in your psyche to the animal dying. Fine. So if you go clear, we'll be able to help you get rid of all these things. Okay. How do I go clear? Well, it's $975. This is what it was at the time for you to go clear. And I went, oh, I have a 3-week-old baby. I can't pay $975 to go clear. And they gave me the spiel about how Jenna Elfman, when she first moved to Hollywood, had no money, so she borrowed a friend's credit card to go clear. And I said, I'm so happy for Jenna Elfman. I'm really happy that she went clear. I'm not going to be borrowing anybody's credit card. So that stopped there. And then I started on the low end of taking courses. This is my journey in Scientology. I took some really great courses, Scientology Tech, Overcoming the Ups and Downs of Life, a friendship course, a parenting course. Great courses. They're like college courses.
Sure.
Each one cost something. Some were 120. One was like 80. The next one was, the most I ever spent was like 500, right? And that was a lot for me. Then I started getting to the next course, which was going to be a lot of money, right? And I couldn't do it. So I stopped. And when I moved to New York City to do a radio gig with you, I went back to the Celebrity Center there. And I started taking...
In New York?
In New York.
Where's the one in New York?
It's on 40, I want to say like 42nd or 40...
Oh, right, near the town hall.
Yeah.
Yes, the
40-something.
Yeah.
I think, or 30-something. It's right, it's huge. And it's beautiful. So I started taking a course. And I learned about something called the tone scale. I'm not sure what course it's in, but it's probably the last course you could take without getting into something called the PTSSP course, which teaches you about suppressive people. But that one costed like $3,000, and I did not have the means to do that. But what I learned about the tone scale, and this is where I quit forever and never went back. You learned about people, and they're all on a scale of numbers. The lower, the worse. I think it's a 2. If you're a 2 and above, you can go on in life. If you're under a 2, you're just a terrible person. So I found out that homosexuality was like a 1.1 or something on the scale, if I remember correctly. It was so low that they put homosexuality in with rapists, murderers, sexual perverts of any kind. And at that moment, I looked up and the instructor came over, because if you yawn, if you blink, if you sneeze, they come over to say, what word didn't you understand? You need to go clear your word. Meaning, if you read and you get tired, they think that that's because you don't understand a word. Not just because you haven't slept at all. And I woke up at 2:00 for morning radio. So I said, I looked up and he goes, what's wrong? And I said, this thing about this tone scale, this homosexuality thing, I don't agree with. And he was like they could not accept that I couldn't agree with what was written here.
Right.
So I left. I said, I'm leaving. And they were like, where are you going? I said, I'm done. I quit. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. And I called Leah and I told her my feelings, and she totally validated them and said, I understand. And because she has gay friends, you know, how does this go on when you don't feel they're not validated? And then some people had said to me, what about certain big name actors who are in Scientology and who are obviously homosexual. But I feel like these people are looked over because they make so much money for the church that it's just accepted as whatever it is, as long as they're not out.
But to be fair, that's true of a lot of churches.
It is. Oh, no, it's not just them. But I'm just telling my story as to why I had to leave.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was so fundamentally wrong, which is another reason why I don't belong to a Christian church or Catholic church. I go with my kid for them to go. Lola wants to go on Christmas Eve and Easter, but I don't believe with the fundamental belief that being homosexual is wrong. So therefore, I'm not going to be accepted in many churches. There are some that accept all.
Yeah.
And that's a church that I can get with and believe in and still pray and do whatever, but stop judging people for who they are and the way they want to live their life.
Now, you've...
So I quit.
Yeah. And you've heard of the agape churches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which agape's great. That's Michael.
I was going to say agave initially.
That's something you'd put in your...
Very sweet church. But
Agape International. Fantastic. Michael Beckwith, I think his name is.
Yes.
He was the one in The Secret, and he runs the one in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And it's love all, and it's based on love, not Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's we're going to go to break, but I was raised. My mother was raised Catholic and wanted wanted to be a nun when she was a kid.
Aww.
All that stuff. Knew the Bible backwards and frontwards. Is that a word?
Yeah.
And
now it is.
Yeah. Knew everything. But she raised
Did she
us.
preach you in Bible terms, in Psalms and John 3:16?
She would quote the Bible. But she would never. It was never in a way that was judging. She was very open about it. She said that she's very clear. God's love is pure.
Because you were a queer kid from the minute you were born.
From day one.
And she accepted who you were.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
She didn't fall victim to the, if you don't live by this, you're going to die. And by the way, I do want to say, and this could probably ruffle feathers, the Bible's open to interpretation.
Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest story ever told, and we are led to believe that this story really happened.
Right. I thought the greatest story ever told was when Whitney met Bobby.
That was the second greatest story ever told. The first one was when Jesus roamed the earth with us mortals.
Yeah. Well, my mother was she was totally against organized religion, though.
Wasn't that weird? She was raised Catholic, loved the Bible, but was against organized. I'm against organized religion in a sense that when there's money on the line, when it's all got to do with money and not got to do with the spirit.
That was her thing. That they thought they were all such hypocrites.
Me too. That's my point.
Because they wanted 10% and they wanted this and they wanted that and they were all.
Do you know that's why I left Kabbalah?
Is that they wanted money?
The tithing.
Oh.
I will give you money when I can give it, but for you to demand 10% of my earnings makes me go, damn it.
Uh-huh.
Why are you doing this? I was really getting into this.
Yeah. Right.
I was really loving this, and now you're demanding that I give 10% of stuff that's barely keeping my family afloat in order to get better. And they would say, my Kabbalah teacher said to me, like, try it for 1 month and see what happens. I'm telling you, a miracle is going to happen.
That's a Ponzi scheme right there.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the thing that gets me. Paying for a course, if you want to do it, I get it.
Sure.
That's what you do in college. You do it anywhere.
Why not?
But it's when it starts getting into the tithing stuff that it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, why did you just ruin that moment? I was rooting for you.
Right. It's like when you're on a date with someone and all of a sudden they want you to pay up for their services.
And I understand.
Yeah. Very
Why?
well.
Why?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Now, Michelle, I don't have to tell you, Todaytix is the easiest way to buy last-minute Broadway and theater tickets at the best prices. This is revolutionary.
Girl,
now,
changed my life.
It changed you, and you were the one who told me about it. I
Yep.
thank you every day for it. You can discover over 80 musicals, comedies, and dramas, and that is just in New York City alone.
Hellier.
It's in so many cities.
It
It's
is.
brilliant.
I use it in London. I know you go to San Francisco a lot. You can use it there. It's in LA, DC, Chicago, Seattle, Philly. More cities are coming. And the reason I got so excited about it is because I never really understood, like, do you have to call the box office?
Right.
Do you have to go outside and wait online?
Yeah.
And it got so confusing, especially with technology. It was still confusing and it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And then Todaytix came along. All you have to do is download the app in your store there.
Yeah.
Todaytix, Tix, you download it, and then you just pick the city you want at the top. There's like a little pin, and you pin the city that you want. It shows you, list you, boom, boom, boom. What night? Where do you want to sit?
Yeah.
Here's where it is. And then you meet the person outside, and bam. And not only that, you get the insider access to all these exclusive offers. I'm talking tickets up to 50% off.
It's amazing. I got to tell you, it used to be so difficult to get tickets, especially if you were, you just got into town and you thought, oh, what's on? I would spend so much time on the telephone with some of those other ticket brokers.
Yep.
And a lot of times I wouldn't even get the tickets because it was so crazy.
Because it took you 50 million steps to get what you want.
It certainly did. That's not the case here with Todaytix. It is revolutionary. Now, listen, if you'd like to use the offer code, you can get $20 off your first purchase with the offer code RU. So download Todaytix app for free right now on Android or what's the other one?
iOS.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's Todaytix. or visit Todaytix.com and see what's playing this week and treat yourself to a show.
Yeah, $20 off your first purchase with the offer code RU. And I'm looking at the New York lineup right now. You can go see our friend Todrick in Kinky Boots while he's still there for $45.
That's brilliant.
Go see it now. Go to Todaytix.
Wow, so many great shows.
Yeah.
We are back. Now, Michelle, about 3 years ago when I redid the house here, I did not get cable TV. And I decided, I'll watch.
Was that your first time ever not getting cable TV?
Yes. And I decided I would, I have cable down at the condo, which is my office, and I get to watch Judy there, and I get to DVR certain things. But at the house, I thought, no, I'll do Netflix, and I'll do DVDs and do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to get on to Netflix, and for some reason it wouldn't go through. Because
what do you mean it wouldn't go through?
Well, I needed my password to do this to my
You don't
Apple
keep like a
ID.
list or have.
I do. I think I do, but I haven't tried since then because it was not working. So I thought, screw it. I'm not going to do it.
Netflix literally has revolutionized.
I know.
Revolutionized the way that we watch. You remember how it used to do with the DVDs? They'd send them.
Yes, they'd send them, right.
And back then,
I have a Netflix show coming on sometime soon. I don't know
Lady
when.
Boss?
Lady Boss.
Lady Boss.
I play the neighbor in Lady Boss.
Well, you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I watch it for so many reasons, usually because I can get a lot of shows like the British shows.
Right, and you're on airplanes, so you see it on your computer.
Well, they have a new thing now. Netflix has a new thing.
This sounds like a commercial.
No, I know, but it's not.
It's not a commercial.
But you can download shows to save for later. Normally, you need an internet.
Uh-huh.
But now you can download them and store them so you don't need the internet.
Right, I thought you could always do that. You couldn't.
No.
Oh, it was always on their server,
Correct.
and you had to access it.
Yes.
I see.
Now you could access it and download it. It's so freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
But I watch a lot of shows. I mean, I just got into Sons of Anarchy. That's where I'm watching Mad Men, all these great shows that I'd never seen.
Netflix.
On Netflix.
Do they have Murder, She Sat Down and She Wrote?
I don't think Murder, She Wrote. There's a lot of stuff. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
As you know, because RuPaul's Drag Race does deals with Netflix as well, especially in the UK, and because their Netflix is different than our Netflix.
Yeah. And people are always writing saying, why is it season so-and-so? I don't know the rhyme or reason of why Netflix does what they do.
You don't know because you're probably not in, but there are different... Murder, She Wrote is on here, bitch.
Oh, shit. Sign my ass up
It is on
now.
here. Let me tell you what seasons. 12 seasons.
See, I have all the seasons on DVD, but sometimes I want to watch it on the airplane.
They're all here. And How to Get Away with Murder, and Making of a Murderer, and Murder Maps, and the Snowtown Murder.
Ooh, this has turned into a commercial?
Bitch, okay, but
Those bitches better pay us.
So, I know, we need to get them on board,
hey,
Alex.
You tell them that bitches at Netflix, they better pay us, Alex.
Okay. And what I really wanted to talk to you about was the Get Down, because...
I want to see that.
You know, Baz Luhrmann can direct anything, and I'm there.
I know.
I'm buying a ticket. I'm front and center.
I know. And if it has to do with KRS-One...
Okay. Now,
or Raekwon.
No, he's not in it. KRS-One's not in it, but you know
Is
who...
it Raekwon?
Raekwon.
Raekwon.
Yeah, it's Raekwon.
Yeah.
It's about Grandmaster Flash.
Uh-huh.
And all the Africa Bambaataa.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh my God. Like, let me breathe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. The first episode took me a minute to get into it. And I was like, no, I can't do it.
Uh-huh.
I had so many people, my hip hop people, texting me going, Michelle, have you seen it? And I'm like, no, they're like, Michelle, you need
it's your series.
Girl, it is so fucking good.
And it's 8 episodes?
It is, it's not a lot. It is 6 episodes.
6?
But it's going to come back with 6 more.
Because it costs a lot of money to make.
I think it's the most expensive show. Are you ready? $10 million an episode.
Oh, really? Because I think Westworld was 16 an episode. Is that right, Alex? Was Westworld
Yeah, but this is
16?
the most expensive Netflix ever had.
Netflix show.
$120 million to make it.
Right. I wonder if they made their money back.
Don't know, but it is. I can't.
I want to see it.
It is so good. The kid who plays Zeke, his name is Justice Smith. He is so good, and Jimmy Smith, of course, is amazing.
Uh-huh.
It is so beautiful to look at. Jaden Smith is wonderful. It is so true, pure hip hop in the Bronx, like in the 70s,
the
in the Boogie Down, in the Brizzy.
Uh-huh.
It is so You guys,
Well,
please.
is it all CGI? How do they tear down all those buildings?
And Giancarlo Esposito, who's amazing.
I live for him.
He's so good, and he's so evil in this.
Because he was evil in Breaking Bad, wasn't he?
He's always evil.
He's so good. I love him.
He just got that face.
Yeah.
He's just a really great actor too, but it's really worth seeing.
Because apparently they chronicle the beginnings of hip hop, and my friend who saw
and
it,
the phasing out of the disco era into street wiki
scratching.
Yes,
yeah. Because tell me, stop me if I'm giving away too much.
Crew battles. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, all the funky 4 + 1 more, all that shit.
Because, stop me if I'm giving away too much, but my friend told me that it all started the night of the 78 or 77 blackouts.
Correct.
Because the looting allowed young people to get the machinery and the turntables and things that they would never have been able to get if they didn't have the looting. Is that right?
Hustling, bitch.
They was hustling.
Yes. So, yes, it's got to
So they got all this machinery and turntables as DJs would have.
For the battle.
For the battle.
Yes.
And it started the whole hip-hop movement.
The whole crew hit mentality.
Yeah.
Africa Bambaata's crew against Flash crew, and then it goes on and on.
Yeah.
But it's the music that I have such a deep-seated passion for, old school hip hop, when it meant something really important to these kids on the street. I'm not taking away what it means now, but it's different now.
Right.
We went through this whole gangster rap thing, and it's changed now. It's different. What it was back then was a means of importance, of making them feel like something.
Yes.
And a way to express themselves with their poetry. And it was just amazing. And it's I live for old school hip hop, and this embodies
We're talking like
everything.
the message. What was it?
Correct.
How did the message go?
Was
this,
it
the I can't remember any of the words.
You're talking about
this is the message. This is the message. Oh yeah,
that's the one.
That one. So you highly recommend.
I highly recommend.
What does the Get Down refer to? Is that the Boogie Down?
The Get Down is no. The Get Down is like their battles. They're the Get Down. It's like the parties are the Get Down.
Right.
And then they have like disco, and Lilius White plays the badass mama. She's like the boss. She's like the Don.
Oh, I love her. Okay, so Netflix. I'm there.
She's amazing.
I'm going to get me some Netflix. It's just the problem with all this gorgeous TV and stuff that's on is like, how do you find that? You watch this stuff. How do you find the time to watch it?
Right, that's a
great
question.
You watch it on the airplane and in airports.
No, I don't. I watch movies that are on the airplane because it's too much of a pain in the ass to pull out my computer, blah, blah, blah. So when I watch it is when I'm painting for shows. It takes me 2 hours to get ready.
How can you paint your face and watch a show at the same time?
Look, I'm going to set it up. Now, for people that are in radio land, what I'm doing is I'm putting my computer to the right of me and my mirror is right here.
Okay.
So I'm doing this and I'm seeing it out of the corner of my eye. It's not like the Golden Girls that I can have on. You don't even have to see it.
Yeah.
Because everything is, you could hear it.
Yeah. And you've seen it like each episode 25 times.
Correct. And if I see like on watching something so visually stunning that Baz Luhrmann does, whatever it does, Strictly Ballroom, Romeo and Juliet, anything you can't.
Moulin Rouge,
Correct.
The Great Gatsby.
Any of the moments you have to pause it and sometimes rewind because you'll miss.
Yeah.
But I can kind of get what's going on out of the corner of my eye.
Notice we didn't mention the movie Australia.
Listen, it was pretty.
It was very pretty. And a few times, the boy from Oz took his shirt off.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah, and Nicole Kidman has some very pretty outfits in it.
And skin.
And wigs.
Pretty skin.
Because nobody got the lace front game on lock like Nicki Kidman, BMX Bandits, Nicki Kidman.
And can I sidebar this by saying when I was in London recently, I went to where they shot Harry Potter, the movie, because I'm obsessed with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I was actually able to go to, it's outside of London. My friend Anna drove me there. It was the most amazing experience. But my point in telling you this is they have the actual clothes that they wore, the actual wardrobe, the actual hair, the wigs. Rue, I have never seen movie lace before.
Oh.
I have never seen. They had Alan Rickman, who's my,
Wait,
obsessed.
movie lace.
So movie lace is different than theater lace, is different than drag queen lace, is different than Hollywood Boulevard.
So we're
lace.
talking lace front wigs,
Correct.
And this is something it's a fine lace.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. You can't even clock it. It is so fine.
Ooh.
So when you're watching a movie and you're going, wig, you know it's a wig, but you can't see the line.
Yeah.
And it's not them going in there with Facetune.
I thought that's what they do.
No.
They go in there and they tune it out.
The lace is so fine. I can't even, it's like, It's like your hair fine.
It's like a baby's pubic hair.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
if a baby had...
It's like cilia. You know, the monkey hair that they're born with.
Yes. Right.
It's like that. And it was amazing to see it because on the wig heads where they are in front of you, you can't even clock it and you're this close. It's amazing.
The big English movie studio for years and years? It was the big movie studio in England where they did all of the James Bond movies and all the big English movies. I've forgotten.
I'm going to look it up because I don't know.
All right, so we'll take a break and we'll come back with that information.
Okay, good.
Yeah, all right, we'll be right back. Squarespace is fantastic. It is helping so many people get their brand on by making a gorgeous website that people can go to, find out what they're doing, and doing it with ease.
It's the new calling card.
It really is the new calling card.
Yeah.
This is where people go to find out about you.
That's it. And everything that you're trying to pitch to the world, honey, you put it out into the universe and you put it all on squarespace.com and you get a free trial with no credit card required just by going to squarespace.com. That's pretty awesome.
And it's pretty easy, too.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Now, we say this because it's important. Everybody gets freaked out at the thought of making their own website.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I have no technological skills. You don't need them with squarespace.com. That's what's so amazing.
It's so amazing because the templates are already there for you. Drop those templates.
Drag and drop,
Drag
girl.
and drop, girl. It is, and the fact that you don't have to give your phone number to anybody, they can just find you on your website.
Yeah, and I have an email too, you guys. We get, of course, we get great emails at RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com. Keep sending them in about your Squarespace website. This one's from Ramon, and he says, my husband and I are longtime listeners of What's the Tea and took your advice on building a Squarespace. It's easy to build. It's beautiful, a great platform to sell our postcards. And their website is monumentalpost.com. That's monumentalpost.com. They sell beautiful postcards featuring commissioned artwork on premium paper. And Ramon says they are fierce, honey. They also offer a service where they'll send your thoughts and ideas to the White House or Congress. And he says, I think we need to read a few politicians and tell them she already done hers. Much love to you all from Monumental Post. And that's from Ramon and Oleg.
Well, that's so perfect because this is exactly why Squarespace was created.
Yeah.
It's created so that creative people can have a platform to do their thing and have people find them.
Yeah.
Now, go to Squarespace immediately. If you need help with a website, go to Squarespace right now and use that offer code. Get 10% off by using offer code RU. And it's just that simple.
Sorry, baby. And keep sending those emails to RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com. That's RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com.
When we were getting into the studio today, we in the parking garage and in the lobby, we saw Rob Reiner.
But let's rewind it first because then you walked in because I was waiting for you in the lobby.
Yeah.
And you're in the parking garage. I'm in the lobby. I see Rob Reiner walk by and literally my jaw dropped because... Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But then you walk in, I go, and you knew exactly what I was going to say before I said it. You go, I know. I go, Meathead. And you're like,
my first thought was Meathead. And that's of a certain generation because Rob Reiner was introduced to us all as the son on son-in-law on All in the Family. And Archie Bunker would call him Meathead. So I'm sure everyone who runs into him of a certain age, that's the first thought they think of. And my second thought was
Spinal Tap?
It was Spinal Tap. But I was thinking someone younger than me, like you, would think Princess Bride.
No, I would think All in the Family. I'm 48. I think somebody at 38 might say Princess Bride.
Okay.
He is so genius. And
he directed Misery. He directed Stand By Me is a Rob Reiner film. Princess Bride.
When Harry Met Sally.
Harry Met Sally.
Stand By Me. A Few Good Men. Genius. But it got you and I to talking. My favorite sitcom of all time. And I am sitcom whore. I
never knew that was your favorite sitcom.
I'm almost positive I've told you a million times
I don't think so. Yeah.
All in the Family is my number one sitcom of all time. Not because of the brilliance of Norman Lear. That's just the little part of it. Yeah. Carol O'Connor was Gene Stapleton? Gene Stapleton. Sally Struthers, just also the lower middle class living, the worker class, the risks. It pushed every single envelope there was to push. Everyone. cross-dressing, gay, black, interracial. Everything there was to be pushed was pushed. And he was a racist with a heart of gold, Carol O'Connor.
Right.
And I think it hits close to home because my dad was kind of that guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's changed a lot, but it was kind of that feeling of being home with All in the Family. And it's my favorite sitcom of all time.
That is crazy. I don't think I knew that. Because, I mean, I loved that show when it was out, but I wouldn't say it was a favorite. It was an important show.
Agreed.
It wasn't something that I would think of my favorite. When I think of my favorite, I think of Golden Girls.
That's
my
my number
favorite.
2.
Because I can watch it and I do.
Agreed.
Every day, anytime, and it's still good and
brilliant.
I can't say that word. Relevant. I can't say benevolent either. Did I say it right?
You just did.
All right. I can't say stigma.
You just did.
Okay, well, I'm doing very good.
So you can.
I can. I certainly can. The audacity of hope is right here in the studio.
I can feel it.
Yeah. So, but when I think of
so name top 3.
Okay, Golden Girls.
Correct.
I would have to say Sanford and Son.
Oh, it's a great one.
Because of memories. I remember we didn't have a TV in my...
You big dummy.
My mother and my sister and I would go around the block to her friend's house, to watch Sanford and Son, because we didn't have a TV, and it was such a phenomenon.
Oh my God, was it ever?
At that time.
Was it ever?
And
Red Fox.
A third sitcom, I'm going to have to say Good Times.
Another great one.
I'm going to have to say Good Times. Another Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
All in the Family.
All in the Family, Good Times, and Sanford and Son were all Norman Lear.
Sanford and Son was Norman Lear?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was.
Oh my God.
Because
Maude.
Maude would have to be my fourth.
One of the best.
And that's a spinoff.
The Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons is a spinoff of All in the Family.
Correct.
Maude is a spinoff of All in the Family.
Correct. Because do you remember when she was on there?
Yes, I do. And then
Soap was another great one.
Oh, Soap. Yes.
Talk about irreverent.
And that's the same people who did Golden Girls.
Yes.
And it was that same irreverent.
No, that's not Carsey Warner.
No, it's Thomas. It's Whit Younger Thomas.
Yes, Whit Younger.
Younger
Thomas Whit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Thomas is Tony Thomas, who is Danny Thomas's son.
And I loved Empty Nest also.
That's another one.
Younger
spinoff.
Whit.
Yep.
Thomas Whit, whatever it was.
Yes.
But for me, my top 3 went All in the Family, Golden Girls, Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne.
Those are my top 3. Now, there were a million that I loved.
I mean, give me a break. With Nell Carter.
And do you remember Double Trouble that would come on after?
I don't know that.
That was
one.
the twin girls, the
Doublemint twins?
Yes.
They had their own show.
Double Trouble.
And was that right after the Manifuscos or the Torkelsons?
I loved the Torkelsons. That's where we first got to know Brittany Murphy on the Torkelsons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weird sitcoms that people don't talk, like Just the 10 of Us, like all these great shows.
Was that a sitcom? No, that was an hour drama.
No, Just the 10 of Us. No, that's not. That was 8 is Enough.
Well,
Just the 10 of Us was a sitcom of the the kids that lived in Lubbock, Texas.
I'm thinking of the show with the guy from The Shield. What was
Michael Chiklis?
Yeah, what was that show he did? The commander, the 10 in charge? No. Not Charles in
No, not Charles in Charge. But
yeah.
The guy kind of looked like him a little bit, only with the little side hair. With Michael Chiklis.
Yeah,
I just remember him from The Shield.
Okay.
He's done a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of those old sitcoms. I loved sitcoms.
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved everything. Like I loved Step by Step, Valerie's Family. I loved because it was Rhoda, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I love.
Well,
her so much.
So now we're getting deep in there because I loved the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Of course,
that was brilliant.
Do you remember Hello, Larry?
I do remember Hello, Larry with
Kim Richards,
McLean Stevenson.
Yes, I loved
Hello, Larry.
And then Dear John, with Judd Hirsch.
Yes, Judd Hirsch. I loved. I just thought of one, but I just forgot about it. But you know what's? Bewitched. The problem with Bewitched now, though, is that laugh track is ridiculous.
When you watch it,
it ruins it today.
Yeah.
But it's such an important show because it's the story of an ascended of a spiritual being trying to dumb down to fit into everyday life with people who are. She's smarter than everybody, but she wants the love of this man, so she's willing to dumb herself down to try to fit in.
Isn't that something that's
how about that?
Interesting. Yeah.
Isn't
very
that
real.
prophetic? Is that how you say that word?
Prophetic, yeah. Yeah.
It's an important show. Unfortunately, the laugh track makes it impossible to watch.
But that was the thing back then, you know, and it wasn't necessary. But I think it just got really expensive, didn't it, to film in front of a live audience? So they had to do the laugh track.
Well, I think people need guidance as to when to laugh. I think people are lemmings, and you know, they don't find the funny in the places
that they're supposed to find.
Well,
funny.
that they don't have. You don't have to find it in the place that it's supposed to be. It's just find it where you can.
Yeah.
But the laugh tracks were terrible.
Yeah, I know they do it. But there's so many sitcoms like that. And then seeing Rob Reiner was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, you know, it'd be fun to do a sitcom, although the genre has changed so much.
Yeah.
But how do you do it? How do you do a single camera where it's because all those shows were 3-camera shows.
Right. But people like to do what they call a multi-camera.
Mm-hmm.
I think people tend to like to do those more than, and from what I'm hearing from my working actor friends, they prefer that is because it's much quicker.
To do it in front of an audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
The single camera shows take so long to get think about, you have to do the same scene.
Yeah.
All these different ways to get every angle covered.
Yeah, but which I don't mind because a lot of times I don't know my lines.
Right.
And
It helps
by the
you.
time the camera turns around to me, I've done the scene already 5 times.
Right. No,
you know?
I don't disagree with that. But I think that there's that lost art of the sitcom. I'm hoping it's going to come back because I feel like, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like reality TV has now run its course, and there's, you know, basically we're looking at scraping the bottom of the barrel. There's nothing left to do in reality.
People said that 10 years ago.
Yes, but it's been going for 20 years now, however long it's been going. It's been going think about the Osbournes. That's like 20 years ago.
Was it?
On Real World, that's like 20 years ago.
Well, because the first real reality show, I mean, yeah, sure, there were the court shows and stuff, but the real first one was Cops. Cops was the first. True,
but if you want to talk about reality as far as the way we know it now, the first Real World #1 was 1992.
All Glocks down.
I'm saying Heather B, right?
Yep.
So if you're going back that far, that was the real one that captured the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the one that was like, oh my God. And that's where it all started. So for me, if it's been going on this long, you're talking about mud fishing and these shows that just make
ice truckers.
Where are we going?
Alaskan bear hunters.
That's it. There's nothing left.
Loggers.
Nothing left. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm hoping. And also what I'm seeing, and you know this is to be true, is these big actors are now coming to TV shows. Not terrestrial TV shows, but like Netflix and HBO.
Yeah.
And that would never have happened 10 years ago.
That's true. This is the second golden age of TV. I know that Julia Roberts is coming to a limited series.
That's what I mean. That never would have happened. I saw a billboard on Sunset for like Nicole Kidman and...
Yeah, Little Big Lies.
Yes, and that's
HBO.
on... Yes!
Big Little Lies.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the point is, these huge movie stars, not just movie actors, stars, Academy Award winners, are now doing small screen stuff. So talk about All Glocks down, all bets are off.
Well, that's because the stories are there. You know, to go into a movie theater, you know, the only thing, they want to book films in their movie theaters that are going to make money. And who makes money for the movie theaters are 14-year-old boys. So you're going to get a lot of Marvel comic book movies. And I really don't care. Although I did watch some screeners of them and I enjoyed them. But I'm not going to go sit in the movie theater.
You're not going to be moved by them. Where
Right.
It's like, you know, when you watch a movie with one of the best actors, Tom Hanks, like you're going to be moved by anything that guy does. He's so good at everything that he does.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
He's like the epitome of an actor.
What was our other thing? I wanted to ask you about something else. What was it?
Was it nose hair? Should we talk about nose hair?
Why not?
Okay. So I saw a tweet recently about you giving advice for a gift of a nose trimmer.
Yeah.
Nose hair trimmer, not a nose trimmer. That's something else.
That's something else. Yeah.
And then you said with it that plucking your nose hairs could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, when you take the follicle out of your nose hair,
Mm-hmm.
it can get bacteria can get in there.
But that
in
could
the
be
follicle.
anywhere.
I think it's the idea that it's inside of your body and that it's so close to your brain. I think that is why.
Because in your sinus cavity up in there?
I guess so. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I've never played one on television.
But you'd like to.
Actually, I have played a doctor on TV.
Have you? Where?
I'm in an HBO. It's okay. It's an HBO series called Animals.
Okay.
That is an animated show.
Okay.
It's an animated show, but they did one live action show.
Was it the clay one or it's actual animation?
It's actual animation.
It's not the clay one where all the celebrities voiced?
No.
Okay.
No. Is that BoJack Horseman?
No.
No,
it was called Animals, I thought.
No. This is something called Animals, and should I be even talking about this? I don't think they would mind. Right?
No, why would they mind?
I don't know. Maybe they want to surprise and say that I'm going to be on this show.
So is it a new show?
This is the second season.
Okay.
And I play a doctor on it.
So you've played a doctor on TV.
I have played a doctor on TV.
Well,
so there you
there
go.
we have it. Okay. So the nose hair trimmer, because listen, the other day I was doing a show and I was looking in my mirror and I was like, oh, I'm going to pluck this hair out. And I went to pluck it and you would have thought that somebody just broke my nose.
Sure.
And I didn't even get it. And I was like, nope, done.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it.
Well, true confessions, I do still pluck the nose hairs, but I do have a nose trimmer, which are a great gift. And you just stick that thing up there and it does its duty, and it's great. Especially if you're working in HD television.
Honey.
Everything shows up.
And you have to check everything that you never would have checked before.
Yeah,
You have to check nose hairs, make sure that there's no bats in the cage.
Yes, food in the teeth.
No food in the teeth. You got to make sure no eye boogers,
Yep.
earwax,
because they all up in your mug.
in it,
Yeah.
all up in your pores.
I was watching Real Housewives, Don't Ask, Don't Judge, Atlanta. And
that's, by the way, the only one to watch.
Yeah, well, oh God, it was so good.
Yeah.
And there was a scene with one of the, I'm not going to say who, one of the girls who I'm not really that fond of, but I love watching them, the producers make a fool out of her. I shouldn't have said that because that gives people the idea. She was making a fool out herself, you know.
And they just went with it.
And they went with it.
Yeah. They didn't take it out.
They didn't take it out, exactly. And
watching her self-destruct is what you're watching her do.
And so she had a little visitor in her nose, and I kind of felt bad about relishing in the fact that was what was happening.
But you didn't feel that bad.
I didn't feel that bad.
No, because we've all been there. I mean, I've seen pictures of me. I do this thing that my dad, I went on the drag cruise recently, and I brought my dad with me to Greece and to Italy, and he brought pictures that he had. And I realize now, because I told the story about my dad only has one eye because he was born prematurely and all that. Anyway, long story short, he's got glaucoma in his good eye. But I realized I felt bad for him now, and he's doing well, he could see. But growing up, he was just a really shitty photographer. And I realized that I have that man chronicling my career. And he brought me about 7 envelopes of pictures, how we used to get them developed.
Yeah.
And 98% of them were pictures of my feet performing on stage. I'm not exaggerating. So when I do my one-woman show, I'm going to incorporate the slideshow.
Oh, my God. That's going to be brilliant.
Hilarious.
I love it. Remember last night, we were in the lobby after we saw this show.
Merrily, yeah.
Michelle and I. And, some people wanted to take a picture. And I get very bossy when people want to take pictures because I get bossy because I first of all, let's get it popping. Don't waste all this time. Everybody's got a damn camera.
Story. They also have a story.
Everybody's got a damn camera, but nobody knows how to take a picture.
No.
So what I do is I say, okay, who's taking it? Okay, you stand right there because I say, find the light.
That's why I was trying to help because it was like, hold it high, find the light, but
hold it high.
Rue, you got to understand. The layperson has no idea.
But why? They have a phone. If it's raining, you know how to step under a umbrella. You know how to step underneath some.
No, you're talking about common sense versus technological common sense. Because think about the average person. They don't know how to take a photograph and take it well. So what happens is these meet and greets. Let's use this for an example.
Okay.
We are in the dark. And they're not using a flash.
Right.
So I say to them, do you actually want to see me? Do you want to say, oh, I met Michelle? Yes. Then why are you not putting the flash on?
Exactly.
And don't trust Otto because Otto is a liar.
Otto is a liar.
Otto lies to your face. You push Otto and they're like, fuck you. No.
911 is a lie.
911 is a joke.
It's a joke.
And Otto is a liar.
Yes.
Lies to your face,
yes,
bitch.
and the devil is a liar.
So you need to push on and you need to hit that flash. So the average person doesn't know that
Why not?
this right
Why
down here,
not?
what I'm doing is holding my phone down.
Yeah.
This is not a good angle.
Why,
Not even for a 22-year-old.
But why don't they know that?
Because they don't.
Do you have a phone in your pocket?
No.
Everybody's got a damn phone.
They don't know. So you do get bossy, but sometimes
I get bossy, and
they need to learn.
I say, give us a 1, 2, 3. Put the flash on.
Yes.
Stand over there. The
Hold
light
it
is
up.
coming at us this way.
Yes.
And then they want to take several pictures. Like, bitch, I got shit to do. Don't be taking several pictures. Do you have it? Did you get it?
Got it.
Well, let's get it going.
But they're also scared of you. They're
I don't
also
care. They should be scared of me, Michelle.
oh, true.
They should be respect my. They should respect my black ass, and they should be scared
But
of me.
they're talking to their hero.
Yeah, but have some damn respect.
Yeah.
If you don't talk to
to learn how to use your camera.
you don't talk to your damn dog like that.
No.
You don't interrupt your dog when it's it's
Eating
like
dinner?
let it fucking do its thing.
Yeah.
And
They don't know
child.
how. I know. It's
And listen, I'm
frustrating.
saying this stuff on the air like this. People aren't going to understand. They're going to say, "Oh, you should be lucky that people want
It's
to take
not
your
that you're
picture."
not. Well, hold on. I will defend you here and saying it's not that you're not lucky. It's that time is ticking when you could be getting this great picture, and you could, or if you just want to say something, then say something. But you don't have to say something.
But my thing, it's not even that. It's my thing is learn how to take a damn picture. You have a phone. You know how to dial a phone. You know to make a phone call.
No,
Do it. This
honey.
is the thing. There are only 2 pictures to take. In composition, learn how to compose a picture.
Uh-huh.
There's a head and shoulder picture,
Or there's
where
a
you
full
have
length.
to get, or a full length.
Yeah.
A head and shoulder picture. You have to get the bottom of
Sternum.
the décolletage
Right under your tits.
right under your tits.
Yeah.
That's head and shoulders, and you have to get the top of the hair. If you're doing a full length picture, do not cut the feet off.
Correct.
You have to get the full length. It takes a split second to go composition, full length, feet, top of head. I mean, get the whole hair and all that in there. That's 1.
Yeah, but
2 is head and shoulders.
People don't get that.
But why not? What's wrong?
Yes. Look at the world, and what's wrong.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. So sometimes patience is the key here. Because I've had to say, how about you give me the camera? And I'll hold
that's
it.
what I do now.
Yeah, it's just
That's
easier.
what I do. I said, you know what? I have long arms. Give it to me.
Yes. You
I'll
won't
take
get
one
frustrated.
picture, done. I'm out the
Correct.
door.
And then you're in charge.
I'm in charge.
So that's the smart move.
Yeah.
So, Dad, can you take a picture? Actually, no, let me
No.
grab it. That's
No.
what you need to do.
And then they have me standing there for a lot. Did you give us a 1, 2, 3? Do that cost extra?
They don't understand 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah.
I've had people that are camera people
Yeah.
take a picture and they don't give me a 1, 2, 3. It's like,
Right.
"Bitch, you do this for a living.
Yeah.
You got to help us.
You want me to hold my smile, my
Right.
fake ass smile for, bitch, please.
Listen, I'm grateful for every picture I take, but I have seen so many hideous pictures.
Horrible.
And the older I get, the worse they get.
Horrible.
So there is a right way and a wrong way to take pictures, guys. And there should be, I bet you if you go on YouTube, there's probably tutorials on how to take a good picture and selfie.
Honey,
I
if
bet
you
you.
can graduate the 6th grade,
Yeah.
you should know how to
Yeah.
take a picture.
Well, Sunday in the Park with George, composition, it's learning.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that creative mind at reach. They really
Yeah.
don't. So patience,
I
darling,
guess so.
patience.
I mean, I guess
And they're also really nervous because they come to me shaking as if I'm Madonna, literally. Oh my God. So I can imagine what they're feeling like seeing you, who's really moved many mountains to get to where you are.
that's
Think
the
about that.
person I'm taking the picture with. But the person taking the picture,
like their parent or their
or
friend
someone,
or their lover.
and
yeah.
first of all, they're fiddling with how do I turn this on? It's like, bitch,
They don't know.
you know what, bitch?
They don't come prepared. So the flash isn't on, the camera's not on. They'll go, oh my God, I'm out of memory. I have too many dick pics. So you got to, there's all that. Yeah, there's all that. Yes.
Oh my God!
But it is funny to watch somebody kind of fumble with it to me.
Well, yeah,
You did
No.
it before me. What?
Yeah, you had to. No, there was something else I wanted to ask you about, and you had it written on your phone.
I had the bug queen.
What's the bug queen?
You told me I was the queen of bugs.
Right,
and then I should
right.
go
There's
with
the
it.
queen of bugs, right? But first of all, let me just finish up. The nose clipper.
Nose hair clip. Any kind in particular?
I like the what's it? I'm seeing it's not
Clarisonic.
It's Wall.
Wall. They do the best. They're also great hair clippers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wall, and you can get them on Amazon.
I got to shave my husband's neck with that.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon, and they're good for ear hair too, because once you get to a certain, I had a lot of ear hair electrolyzed years ago.
So electrolysis is the predecessor to laser, but electrolysis is more painful, isn't it?
It's painful. That's a relative term. Yes, it's painful.
Because you did your whole face, didn't you?
I did most of my face except my goatee.
Do you still ever? I haven't seen you rock a goatee in years.
Yeah, well, it's all white, by the way.
Yeah, but how sexy is that?
Well, if you're playing in some Harry Potter movie, perhaps. As
Gandalf the Gay.
Exactly.
I love it.
But electrolysis gets the root of the the root.
Well, doesn't laser too? Or no?
Laser does. Laser is not an absolute science. What's the term? It's not a blank science.
Complete?
No, it's a different term. It's not a something. Anyway, but you have to have black hair for
correct.
The laser to
That
work.
is correct.
And I got a lot of the
things have changed.
Yes.
Years have come
changed.
upon
so,
us.
I mean, we call that electrolysis lady back up again.
Yeah.
It costs.
Do people still do it?
I think they do.
People are still trained in doing.
Well, because you know what, electrolysis will kill that follicle like dead.
But how many treatments do you need? Is it the same? Like you need multi-treatments, like you do for?
Oh hell yes,
you do.
It took me years to get all of this on my face. All of this took years. Back then, it was like $60 an hour.
And how many hours would you have to do it?
I ended up paying about $12,000 over the course of.
You're kidding, right?
A few years.
Is it because your hair, being a man of color, is more coarse than, or
it's
no?
Possible. It's possible, but that's what it took to kill that shit. Yeah.
But you didn't do it all at once, so it wasn't like, ouch, this is hurting my wallet.
No,
was it? Or did you feel it back then?
Hurting my wallet?
Yeah,
or hurting
meaning
my face?
$12,000 is a lot of money. So back then, when you weren't the Rue that you are today, when you started, started a long time ago.
No. I started. I think in 2000 maybe.
I remember a long ass time ago because I remember you going.
I think in 2000.
Yeah.
But I had the money. It was, and I would, I have a high tolerance for pain. And
so do I. But I didn't realize that people still do electrolysis.
No, I would fall asleep on the table.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. I would fall asleep and she'd be sticking that needle in my.
Watch yourself.
Did I? That's your ass.
You better watch. Don't play me. You better watch yourself.
She would be sticking that needle in my face, and
Is it
I'd
a
be
needle?
snoring. It's a needle, yeah.
So I can kind of do that with tattoos at this point too. I can relax myself.
Do tattoos hurt?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends where you get them.
Yeah.
But they hurt.
I would think it's close to being
tattooed. Maybe it's the same idea.
Yeah, because you stick a needle into the hair follicle at the root
and burn
you zap it. And
with electricity.
With
which
electricity.
Burns it.
Yeah. And eventually that follicle will die.
Oh my God.
But there are 3 cycles of hair growth. And I can't remember the name of them. I think it's Ricky Bobby
Mike.
And Mike.
Yeah.
And or Belle Biv and DeVoe, one of those. And you have to get all 3 of those cycles over the of several different.
I didn't even know. I thought you just go in there and kill it. Like I had laser. Now here's the thing. I don't know if this happens with electrolysis, but with laser, I had to did my armpits and I did 6 sessions, and there's still some stragglers.
Yeah.
Stragglers. So I'm talking maybe, I don't know, 3, 5 in each pit. But I still have to shave them now. So I need another treatment. But I bought that home laser.
Oh.
Laser. And
the no or the oh no?
No, not the no. I bought the Tria, the same person that does this one. So they do a hair removal one, they do a face lift tightening one, and they do a zit and acne one. So I bought it to do it at home for my daughters. But now Lily, being Lily, has decided she doesn't want to shave anymore.
Right.
And she bought Birkenstock. So I think we're heading to Lilith Fair.
Okay. Well, you better start making some granola
Indigo
at home.
Girl.
Yes.
I love it. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay. All right.
It is what it is, kiddo.
So, So what was the other thing on the Bug Queen? You went to Chicago again.
I went because, listen, Chicago is very good to me.
It's been very good to me my whole career.
Yes.
But you keep going to these hotels where there are little crawly creepy crawlers.
I go to the hotel they put me up in because that's the one the club has to deal with. And the hotel in itself is fine. It's cute.
Right.
It's got a gym. It's convenient. It's in Boys Town. It's right around the corner. But this last time I went, the one when I texted you, they had 2 of them, not just 1, but 2. Because one was in the bathtub. I had to call help at the front desk, and he came and got it and killed it, did whatever. And
you're
then
not going to kill it yourself.
I can't. No way.
Because you're afraid of these
It
things.
scurries.
You're afraid of all bugs?
I'm not even going to say it because I don't want anybody to hold anything against me.
Okay, right.
But what I am going to say is that I found out by tweeting a picture of it. All Chicagoans responded and said, "Oh my God, they're like cockroaches are in New York City, and they're called house centipedes. They have."
I have those at my house.
There's 100 legs, obviously, because it's a centipede. So much.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's fuzzy.
They're like
fuzzy.
silver.
No, not a silverfish.
Yeah,
a house centipede.
I've seen those. No, I've seen them in my bathroom.
Okay, I've never seen them in here. They were very common there. And then I came home from the gig that night, and it scurried right across, like right up really close to my feet. So I threw a towel over it and stomped up and down myself. I did that. Okay. So I texted you. You're like, girl.
Oh, you threw a towel down and you stomped on it?
Correct.
Did you get it?
I think so, because nothing scurried out.
Right.
So then I was like, next time I'm going to ask not to stay on the ground floor, because I felt like this had something to do with it. So flash forward to a couple days ago where I'm staying at a different hotel in Chicago called City Suites or something, City Hotel, whatever it was. And I'm so excited because it's post-show and there's a bathtub. And there's never bathtubs in our hotel. It's my favorite thing because so many kids from Lush give us bath bombs.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens that I had used my last one, and all I could do was put some of my little soap that I used to wash my body in for bubbles. AKA the water was clear. And there was nothing in the tub. I rinsed, always wash the tub before I get in it, because who knows if those girls really clean the tub. Fill it up. I get in this hot bath. It's lovely. I start reading a book. And then I turn more hot water on. All of a sudden, I look down. What's in the tub? A fucking house centipede on the 4th floor. It came through the pipe, I think. Because I don't think it was alive. When I took a picture, it was just like, blah. So I think they're following me. So then what do? I take a picture and I text you. And your response is, girl, I think they're trying to tell you that you're their queen. Embrace it. And I said to you, I don't want to embrace them. I don't want to embrace the bugs. Embrace the bugs. They follow you everywhere. They clearly see you as their queen. I don't want to be their queen. I don't want to face them.
Michelle, it is your destiny.
And I can't. No, it's not.
You cannot abdicate the crown. You are the queen of bugs.
I revoke it. I don't want it. Somebody else can have it. It does not belong to me. Unbelievable.
So what you're telling me is you're abdicating the crown.
I'm abdicating the crown. My body repels the bug queen crown. I don't want it. Give it to somebody else. But it was unreal that these things are following me. Any Chicagoans out there, you completely understand.
Why don't you every time you check in, why don't you check in with some bug spray?
Because I can't spray bug spray on a bug.
Okay, so you have an issue with the bugs, but you cannot kill the bugs.
I can't kill it. I can't look at its fuzzy little face and then spray it to death.
Right. There is there is a cycle of life.
Yes, there is.
There is a hierarchy.
I learned that from Elton John.
Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, or say, "Oh, I'm a higher being," great, that's fine. But in nature, big fish eat little fish. It's not. It's not personal.
I know.
It's just the way it is.
It's just drag.
Yeah. And listen, if you don't want to eat bugs, fine.
Yeah. And people do eat bugs.
Sure.
But, we know them to not be food in this country. And in other countries, they look at us and be like, what, are you crazy?
Right.
This
a
is
good
the
meal
easiest
there.
source of, yes.
It's like a lobster walked right into your room.
And just plopped itself in your bathtub. And I ran out of that water so fast that I really could have.
Oh, you could have hurt yourself. Yeah.
Because it was slippery, and I was so freaked out.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Bugs don't bother me. I have an
At
issue.
all?
No, I have an issue with rats.
Yes, we know that.
Rats?
By the way, that's the rat hotel too, where I'm staying.
Is
that's
it?
the same hotel.
You didn't want to say their name. Should we blank out their name?
I can't, because they're really sweet and they're good.
Oh, should we blank out their name?
I'll say it.
No. We don't want to get
All right.
holla.
Okay, all right.
We won't say their name.
Because you know me, I don't give a shit.
They have, so there are rats there?
Rats, not in the hotel. That's the one where they're having the little rat fucking rave in the front yard. So when I was leaving, it was in the summer. I'm not sure it'll be the same in the winter.
Yeah. So, Alex, we're going to have to cut out the name of the hotel from earlier
with the
that
bug?
she said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut their name out.
All right, sorry.
Too. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway.
I just name checked that bitch.
Well, that's nature. That's nature. That's where we are.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah, it is. And while...
And not all places in New York have roaches. I don't have roaches in my house in New York.
I did not in my apartment, my last one that I lived in, but when I lived, I can't say the name of it.
No.
Okay. When I lived in a certain famous hotel, it used to be my dormitory. We had roaches everywhere. The lights would go on, but I tell you what, those combat little discs, gone.
They
overnight,
work.
gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but they don't show up dead. They're just not there.
Yeah.
They work.
Right.
Those little, not roach motel, but combat.
Yes.
That
I
works.
remember those. When I was in the East Village, there were roaches, but that was the only place.
I mean, they're gross, but they don't, I don't know, they don't freak me out in a way that the other bugs do.
Yeah. All right. So what else did you want to talk about? We're about ready to close up shop here.
Yeah, we are ready to close up shop, girl.
Yeah. Well, I think that the big news here is it's important to keep the faith. And this is another non sequitur. I just want people to
whether it's bugs, facial hair, whatever, we could tie it all together.
The boogie down Bronx.
The Bronx, whatever it is. We just got to keep the faith.
That's right. Keep the faith and know that there are friends out there for you. There are people who are your tribe. Find your tribe. And even
now more than ever, baby.
Now more than ever. And even if your tribe is a damn bunch of roaches.
And house centipedes. Girl, I'll house centipede you. You're in my hut now.
Oh, God.
Unreal.
All right, Michelle. Well,
all right,
until
baby.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes.
If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.